Hi,
Good morning.
Bill.
How are you?
What's going on? How are you today?
Doing well. How are you?
Excellent. Nice to meet you. Where are you coming out of?
I am out of Clearwater, Florida.
Okay, cool. Right on. How's Clearwater today?
Lovely. Oh, right here. Lovely. Nice day so far.
Yeah,
No hurricanes. So you're so good, so good so far. We'll
there you
see.
go.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. It's great to meet you. And I
Likewise.
want to begin our conversation with kind of what we've all lived through for the last 3.5 years or so with COVID. How did you get through the pandemic period and how has it changed things for you now?
I'm a multifamily owner operator, so I'm in the multifamily apartment investing business, and so yeah, we had some interesting time with that. In the beginning, in the lockdown, COVID hit. It really suppressed our operations. We weren't sure what was going to happen. My properties were okay, but a lot of owners were hit with these sort of lockdowns and the eviction moratorium, and so a lot of tenants were not paying rent during that time. That was sort of the immediate effect of COVID in the apartment space, and then that sort of has worked its way through. We've gotten our tenants back on track. And now the sort of secondary effect of COVID, my opinion, the interest rates. The government put out so much stimulus money during the COVID period that I believe they thought was necessary. Locking the country down. It's obviously going to hurt business. It didn't hurt business as much as they thought. Put out a bunch of stimulus money, and now we have a lot of inflation and therefore interest rates. But that's sort of what's happened to me over the last couple of years in a
Yeah.
nutshell.
So let's get to the crux exactly of what you do for a living. If I put you in front of a bunch of third graders at a career day, and one of the kids says, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" How would you answer that child?
I would say I buy and rent apartments to people, and I also teach people how to do that business.
So, have you seen a spike? I mean, it seems like since COVID, people are kind of downgrading and reevaluating their lives. Have you had an upsurge?
Not me personally, not too much. No, it's been pretty level business after COVID. So we've been doing pretty good in my business. I've been doing this for about 20 years, so I kind of understand how the market shifts and goes up and down. And so I had sort of prepared financially for more of a downturn a little while back. So
Yeah.
so far so good.
Okay. So, what did you want to be in the third grade? What was your dream to grow up and become?
I want to be a doctor. My dad is well, he's retired now, but was a pediatric cardiologist, and so I always thought I was going to go be a brain surgeon. I think is what it was in the third grade.
So, did you ever go into do anything medical, anything in school?
Um, Not ancillary, yes. Never directly in the field. So I have had jobs in the medical field. As a kid, my dad got me some summer employment in the hospital, things like that. I was a corporate pilot when I first came out of school. That was what I went out in life to do, was become a Delta pilot. That was my dream job as an adult. And so one of my very first jobs was flying corporate for another neurosurgeon in Macon, Georgia, where I'm from. And so I actually wound up doing some medical supply sales back and forth with him. And so again, sort of been in and around the business, but I'm certainly not a physician. I'm not a nurse. I'm nothing like that. No.
So, what were the seeds that were put in you early on in your life that made you want to get into real estate that makes this make sense for you?
I don't know that it was necessarily real estate, because at that point in time earlier in life, I didn't know anything about real estate specifically. But I'll tell you one thing that I'll answer that question with was my father teaching me early on how to change the oil in my car. And being a good dad, young man, he wanted to go out and show me how to change oil in the car and take care of the car. What it taught me was I don't like changing oil in my car, right? I don't want to do that. So the lesson he meant to install in me was one of self-reliance, and I appreciate that. But what it really taught me was specialization. That mechanic has got to eat too, right? Everybody has a place in the world and everybody's got to eat. So learn to do what you do and do it very well, and then trade your skill set to others who do that well. I was never very good at changing oil. So why halfway do that when I could go 100% do my job and pay someone 100% to change my oil? So it's not exactly what my dad was trying to teach me, but the lesson I came away with.
Yeah, it's interesting how life pans out. So, who's been a hero for you? Who's been an inspiration for you in the work and in your life?
Well, I would have to, again, probably my dad, number one. I have always sort of fashioned myself against his example. He always gave me the freedom to screw up. And I've always appreciated that as an adult. When I was young, I didn't understand that, but he was brave enough to let me go under for a minute if I needed to as a kid. And so now as an adult looking back, that suffering that he allowed me to go through is actually good. And that's one of the reasons that I respect my father the most is he was willing to let me suffer through life's lessons and didn't save me from too many of those mistakes.
So obviously being an entrepreneur and having a business acumen, is there anybody out there, an entrepreneur or somebody that's done good in business that you respect and admire?
Um, oh, that's a good question. Who's done good business that I respect and admire? I hate it's hard to say because my opinions have changed over the years. At first when I was new to real estate, I really liked Robert Kiyosaki. I thought that his information was great, and I still believe in the original concepts that he put out there. But my opinion of him has changed over the years. I really don't respect him that much anymore. Early on, I'll let's go political if you want to have that conversation. I was really a big fan of Donald Trump when he was just a business owner and he was doing real estate. And that's how I knew him was through his books and real estate and the image he projected. I really had a lot of respect for him. That opinion has changed over the years. So it's hard for me to say exactly, one person, but for those people I respected in their field, in their time, and then there would be other people that no one here would know that were just specific to me in my life, that were sort of personal mentors, friends, things of that nature.
So if you can meet anybody alive on the planet right now and spend some time with them, who would it be?
It has to be alive now. Oh
No,
gosh,
we can open
yeah, I
up the
don't know.
door.
Let's see. If we okay, we'll do it either way, right? Alive today. That's a good one. Who would I want to meet alive today? I don't know. Maybe Elon Musk. Maybe might be an interesting conversation. I
Okay.
don't know. I'd have to think about that. I'm not a real people person all the time, so I'd have to stop and think about that. Who's alive today? I don't know. I'd have to.
Okay.
If we're talking about history, I want to go back and meet Charles Darwin,
Yeah.
because yeah, that's who I would go back if we're talking, anybody in history. I go back and meet Charles Darwin.
Yeah, that would be interesting. So what is your motivation every day? What is it that gets you out of bed? What is it that gets you to get your job done and to meet all the goals that you have?
2 cups of coffee in the Wall Street Journal every morning. That's what I start
There
with.
you go.
Yeah, outside of that, it's just getting up and going to work every day. It's that's the crux of being an entrepreneur is that no one tells you to get up and go to work. No one tells you to show up at the office. No one makes you do it, and no one's going to fire you if you don't. So you really kind of have to be self-motivated in that regard. So best answer I can give you is 2 cups of coffee, the Wall Street Journal, and then I've got that credit card payment I need to make. So that's a bit motivating to go to work. But other
You
than
know,
that,
in my mid 20s, I don't know how this happened. I think I got frequent flyer miles and I got a 6-month subscription to the Wall Street Journal. And I am not into the whole business thing. I'm more into like music and entertainment, but I loved it. I couldn't believe how much I really looked forward to it. And there was so much that was a part of it. Well written, well orchestrated, well done. It just made sense to me. I had such a good time with that. I think about that.
I don't sell subscriptions to the Wall Street Journal. What I tell young people or anybody really is just stay current on information. I am not a big fan of talking head media, where everybody's going to give me their opinion on my own opinion. I don't need that. But I recommend everybody be aware of current events. It gives you something to talk about besides the weather.
Yeah.
That's one thing I can't stand is when you meet a new person, you don't have anything to discuss but the weather. What a
Yeah.
stupid
Oh my
conversation.
God. Please, I know. Like
Have
whatever
something to say.
whatever you do, don't do it. Like when there's a big storm brewing and we're in line or something, it's like, come on, come on. Let's not.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. We're staying on current events, whether it's whatever media outlet, or whatever is of interest to you. Just pay attention to your world. It gives you something to discuss with strangers.
Yeah, it's good to be aware of what's going on around for sure. I mean, and it can be a delicate line because I know there was times during COVID where I had to be like, detox, I'm out. I can't do it.
We get it. Yeah, I'm not saying be a media junkie, and
Oh, yeah,
certainly be
no.
careful about people feeding you their opinions. That's where I watch out with the media. I don't like that. But
Yeah,
news is news. The facts. That's all I'm
yeah.
saying. Get the facts.
That's it. That's it. So, what's been one of your best success stories as a professional? One that always puts a smile on your face?
Well, let's see. I would say probably as a teacher, helping other people grow into the business and watching students go out and close their first multifamily deal and that when they call you up and say, "Hey, thanks. I did it. It occurred. I closed. That's probably one of my biggest successes in my business is actually helping other people get into the business. And then besides that, it would be specific deals like, oh, the one time I closed that particular deal, something like that. But yeah, I think helping people out is the best part of it.
So let's say you have a dream tonight. You run into the 20-year-old version of yourself. And you could give that young version of you a piece of advice based on the wisdom you've gained in your life up to this point. What advice would you give that younger version?
Yeah, the be something along the lines of mindset. I know that's kind of a wishy-washy answer, but what I realized over time and with age is that success stands on the shoulders of failure, so to speak, right? And then I would probably tell my earlier self to be a little thicker skinned and not take some of those failures so seriously. And that's only something that I can really say in hindsight because the day that I had the deal go bad, the day that business didn't work out was larger than life in that moment. It was everything. And I thought, oh, it's over and the world's coming to an end, and then 20 years later, I'm looking back going, oh, that's just a stupid story I tell. So but it's hard for that. It's almost like when we're in high school, and we think, oh my gosh, the date, the prom and all this stuff in high school is the end of the world. Now, how many years later you're looking back going, boy, that was a waste of energy. You're worried about that stuff. So I think it would be something along those lines of trying to tell my younger self, relax a little bit. And you're going to live a long time. Don't worry about it. You got plenty of time to fix that
Yeah,
stuff.
I think about that a lot. When I think back to that era of my life, I was like, It was nothing. Are you kidding me? It's
Yeah,
just,
but it's everything to you when it's
oh,
in your face, and
yeah, absolutely. So I'm kind of interested by your answer about Charles Darwin. Let's say you could go back into a time machine and see any event in human history with your own eyes happen. What would you love to have seen happen?
any event. Gosh, that's a tough one. I should have like pre-called me on that question so I could come up with a better answer. These are all I did not get the answers. Did not get these questions before the interview. An event back in time. Gosh, maybe like when the invention. No. I know. I want to go back and see Nikola Tesla in some of his original inventions. I think that was someone that also probably would be worth a conversation with. So I'd want to see him go back and start creating some of his first devices, transferring electricity through soil and things of the nature. I think those would have been some interesting people to talk to. So more on the science side, I guess, than maybe on the art side.
But see, this is almost like a game show. You're thinking on your toes and you're putting out good answers. It's very
Thank you. Yeah.
cerebral. I love
Yeah.
it.
I was not
So
expecting that question.
yeah. So let me ask you this. Everyone out there has a perception of you, family, friends, clients, colleagues, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
I would say teacher investor, teacher entrepreneur. That's in two words. I do and I teach, and I teach what I do. So that would probably be it as simply as I can put it. Someone who has been successful in my field and who helps others, join me in that field. That about as simple as I can put it.
So if anyone wants to hire you, find out more about you, reach out to you, where is the best and most obvious platform to do it?
Realestateraw.com. It's the logo here, realestateraw.com. It's my website. If you're interested in multifamily or you're might be interested in being interested in multifamily, but you're not sure if you're interested, check out realestateraw.com. I've got a ton of free information on there. You can read all kind of stuff on there. And then I'd be happy to give everyone my email. It's bill@gobroadwell.com. BILL at GOBROADWELL.com. Bill at Go Broadwell. Reach out to me if you have any questions or you just wanna find out if that business is for you. I'd be happy to talk to you.
I love it, Bill. You're a true pro, man. Thank you so much for your
Thank you.
story,
Thanks for having me on.
for your time. Best of luck. Have a great day. Send my love to Florida.
We'll do. We'll do. It's here now.
Absolutely. Take care.